game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Buccateers podcast. It is draft day 3 live in Vegas. I am here recording for the Buccateers in my mini Bucks man cave. I'm your host, Tampa Tones. We're going to be joined by a couple guests in and out of the building today. It's about 1:08 Eastern time right now. We'll be with you until at least 2:30 Eastern, and I say at least because you never know how long we may go, and we don't want to say we're only going to be here for that amount of time, and then we end up extending it, and some people miss out by that. We already got a comment in the building from Cleve and me saying yes. Obviously, we're here to cover the Buccaneers portion of the live draft, but we're going to be covering pick by pick as they get announced here, as they're still in the heart and soul of round 4, day 3. The Buccaneers are on the clock, or not on the clock, but they're about to be on the clock in about 7 picks or so here. So we'll keep you in touch and we'll keep you in tune with how that pans out. On the bottom line here on our ticker, you see that we did add in who the Bucs have drafted so far. And to me, it's been a hell of a draft for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've addressed plenty of needs while gaining picks in the process and not really losing much value. And I'll start by saying this. We had a mock at pick number 27. Plenty of people mocked us an interior lineman, a defensive tackle. A lot of people said it was Logan Hall at pick number 27. What did Jason Light do? He traded back into day 2 of the draft. Some people were upset about that, but he ended up getting Logan Hall. Then he ended up getting a plethora of picks with that. One of the picks he used to get Logan Hall as well, or one of the picks they got while trading back to get Logan Hall was used to trade up for an offensive lineman as well. And now they still have one of those extra picks left. So, and that's in round 7. So we're excited to see as we got Stunna joining us, and we'll bring him in here and see what he's thinking. Stunna, how are we today, my friend, on day 3 of the draft? And do you approve with what the Buccaneers have done so far? Because, my brother, I am loving it.
I'm with you. I love it as well. I really feel that trading out of the first is something that I really look forward to us doing for a while. And you build your team with 2nd and 3rd round picks. I love pretty much every pick.
And I know you wanted a tight end badly, as did I. How do you feel about the kid from Washington that we were able to secure? Do you know much about him yet, or at least from what you're hearing, what do you like?
I know he was highly rated on the tight ends. I know he looked good in the combine, and I know that Washington been good to us lately.
I agree with that. I mean, we got Vita Vea, obviously. Then we got JTS, and we got Pote as well, Benning Pote, the backup interior defensive lineman. I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of everything we've done so far. The tight end, a lot of people say he's good value, but he was injured apparently, so it delayed his draft value. And then the first round, we were able to we were able to trade back, accumulate draft picks, and we turned those draft picks into guys like Logan Hall, and then trading up for that powerhouse offensive lineman. What do you feel about the rounds from yesterday?
Well, I feel that we got the players we needed. I think at 27, a lot of people had us mock getting Logan Hall there anyway. And so we ended up getting our guy and trading out of the first round, which is brilliant considering our salary cap issues. All right. And then you get your guy, the offensive guard that we needed anyway. And now then you go and get the 3rd down back. All right. And we also re-signed Gino Brevard. So we pretty much took care of the offense. And then, of course, we just mentioned Washington tight end, who will definitely be a starter, you know what I'm saying, as tight end too, no matter what.
And
So,
keep going.
I'm just saying that, they pretty much got every position that we talked about, defensive tackle, tight end, offensive guard, and they even got a third down back, which we pretty much missed for years. And we might have the best depth at third down back this year that we probably ever had, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty amped for the running back depth that we have now. Like you said, it's going to be better than we've had years before because we did bring Gio back. We did bring Lenny back. Rojo left, but Keyshawn Vaughn pretty much is the new Rojo in terms of what he's going to be used to do. And not only did we bring those three guys back or retain those three guys, we added a pass catching back out of the backfield on top of all that in a good round, in an efficient round. I am very excited to see what he brings from the table, although some people might knock him on some things or whatnot in terms of pure running. One good thing that you're always hearing is his hands, and his out of the backfield plays. So at the very least, by taking the running back, Rashad White, from Arizona State, the Buccaneers are getting a very good pass catching back. Then, like you said, when we got Goedke, the offensive lineman, he was originally a tight end, so he was very athletic. Then they shifted him out to tackle, and now Carmen Vitale, ex-Bucs team writer and reporter, said yesterday that the Bucs are pretty much going to make him their starting guard right away. So the Buccaneers, at least right now, have their starting 5 offensive linemen. As the Ravens pick is in, they go with a tight end. So good thing we got our tight ends are starting to fly now from Iowa State. Charlie Kohler, tight end from Iowa State, to the Baltimore Ravens at pick 128. But nonetheless, I think this Bucs offensive line could be very formidable next season. And honestly, Jason Light's done a great job in years past as well, trading up for smaller school O linemen.
And he, just like you just mentioned, he always hits it where there's a run on D tackles at the end of the first. We got our running back at the end of a running back run. We got our guard where there's a run on offensive line, and we got our tight end where there's a run on tight end. So he knows how to time that just right as well, which I love. And he always trades back so that he has ammunition to go up. So Jason Light's done a pretty excellent job as far as draft positioning since he's been here, and the quality of players we've drafted has definitely gone up under Bruce Arians. And I'm just excited, man. I think we're gonna have a great squad next year, and I ain't worried about past next year. So let's get it done. I think we still need to stat the defense. I would love to get Arizona State cornerback with his 4th round pick if he's available. That way you have 2 Arizona's teammates with White, the running back. And like I said, man, you really can't say nothing about our front office when we had Mark Dominic.
That is very true, and the Buccaneers are now on the clock in 3 picks, so we're coming up here, and I agree with you. I'd like to target a defensive back here because in the coming off seasons, we're going to be losing a lot of them, or potentially losing a lot of them to free agency at least. We've seen it already with Jordan Whitehead, and then not to look ahead to next year, but you are losing a ton. So as you said, you got to enjoy this year. But what the NFL draft brings is prepping for years to come. When those guys do leave, what do you do? Especially a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are pretty much equipped at all 22 offensive starting positions by this point in the draft. You don't really need to try and fish for best player available and hope he becomes a starter this year. You could draft that depth guy, and if we draft a cornerback, sure, he might be corner 4 or 5 this season, no doubt. But coming next year, he might be cornerback number 2, because next year you have a lot of these guys entering free agency. Sean Murphy-Bunting will be a free agent. Jamel Dean will be a free agent. Those guys are going to be looking for paydays as it is their first free agency period. And then Logan Ryan's only in here on a 1-year contract as well. And then however you feel about him, Russ Cockrell will be a free agent as well this time come next year. So all of a sudden you got
Mike Edwards.
Yep, Mike Edwards is a free agent as well. Great points done it. And we only signed Keanu Neal to a 1-year deal as well. So all those safeties and corners are going to be free agents at this time, or before this time at least, next season. So I think a corner or a safety would be a great pick.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you mentioned, we got the captain of the secondary back with Carlton Davis III. Excellent, job by, Light. Once again, we talked about that being a priority of the offseason, is to get Carlton Davis to return. So we got that done, and so we're doing well for that. But I just feel like whatever we do from here on out in the draft, I think we're winning. We get a B and A, whatever. I always grade on the high end, so I would say we get, I would pretty much say an A at this point. And and then like I said, if we get a corner here, definitely an A. But we addressed all our depth needs with a defensive tackle. Interior D line's been an issue. I don't know where we're at edge, but we talked about on the last pod. Are we going to go if Mr. Gill's going to step up and be that, outside linebacker for us? And man, I just dare another tight end, Jake Ferguson. There you go. So, it's
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You said that. What did you say? That Light is a trendsetter when runs happen, right?
Yeah, he gets right in the middle of the run. Whenever there's a run on a player, he'll time it where he'll get right there, and then it'll be like a player at a different position will get picked, and then he'll hit that position, and then right after you'll see 2-3 more of those positions get picked up. So
I agree. Look at this with tight end. What is that? Already been 2 right after 2 or 3 in the past 2 or 3 picks, and that's not counting all the ones drafted that we weren't on live for yet.
Correct. At the end of the first round is a run on D tackle. So we said we're going to miss that run. We could get a guy here, but we can also, if we get that first pick in the second round, it'd be just like a late round first round pick. See what I'm saying? And that's
Correct.
why and then we traded up to get the offensive line. So there was a run coming there. Then we traded up to get the running back. There was a run coming there. I think Davin Cook, little brother, got drafted right around that time, correct? So
Correct.
There it is. So this guy is really good. He's, like I said, he's always been good with the draft and the positioning and the management part. And now when you got BA in there, the player evaluation part is gone up. So you're looking at, some major stuff going on there. Basically, man, we really a legitimate franchise since Light and BA got together, man. And I'm just so happy for our future. And I think we're going to be good. I don't see us, not being good or great this year and years coming forward. It's great to be a Bucs fan. Like I said, it's the time to be a Bucs fan, man. Especially those that was there during the Ray Perkins era. This is a great time to enjoy what we got going.
And did you see yesterday? First off, I love that Bruce Arians is playing an integral part of the NFL draft. When I was at the Arians Family Foundation golf outing earlier this week, which was awesome, by the way, me and Bruce got to chat for a couple minutes, and I said, "How you feeling about the draft?" He said, "I'm ready, brother." So he was looking forward to the draft, and he's smack dab in the middle on the damn TV, and I love it, as Bruce should be playing a big role, and it looks like he is playing a big role. But then you got bum clowns like Mike Florio who take it a step too far, and they try and say, "Oh, Bruce Arians makes about himself, and Mike Florio the biggest jackass you can possibly be," with that kind of statement. Stunna, what's your thoughts on Mike Florio and his hatred of BA?
Well, he's hypocrite in that because he tried to make it about himself by trying to call out BA. BA called him out in a press conference when he handed the ball over to Todd Bowles. And Mike Florio should stay out of that. People in Tampa love BA. People in Tampa love Todd Bowles, so it was never a friction thing in the city. So Mike Florio needs to worry about his house. He damn sure don't need to worry about Tampa, Florida. And we're going to be all right without, his opinion for or against, because we have enough social media presence, and we definitely have enough YouTube presence, man. We got to be like top 10 in social media for NFL franchises, I would think. And it
Absolutely.
looked like we have some good representation at the draft as well. If you noticed, our little section of Bucks fans was definitely filled up. So we have a Buckaholic, Buckaholics worldwide, nationwide. You know what I mean? Plus, we even got Buccaneer UK up in here. So if people want to know about the fan base, Buccateers going to let them know about it. All right, because we take it serious. So Mike Florio could kick a boulder.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I agree with you. We keep growing our fan base. And here we are staring a game in Munich, Germany in the eyes as the first one ever there, too. So love it or hate it, Bucks are going to be the first team with an opportunity to continue to grow their fan base in Germany this upcoming season. And it'll be led by none other than Tom Brady. And we get another comment here from Cleve and me saying, Stunna, bless Jesus, bro. Hope to see you soon. Stunna, any words for that before? I forgot to mention every 15 minutes, since we're going to be on a while today, I'm going to play the Buccateers commercial clip just for about a minute and a half or so, just so we could get a little break, catch your thoughts, get some water if we need. So after your comments, we'll take a mini break and we'll be right back.
Sounds great, man. I might have to hang it up. I got to go to my daughter volleyball. But
no worries, brother.
So what we're going to talk about, Cleve Me said, praise Jesus, and you have to praise Jesus because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. So 1 out of 5 Americans has a mental health issue. Okay, that's 20% of America. All right. And these people are who we need to pray for, that they find Jesus, because with Jesus, you can give him the burdens in your life and they will be solved. You can pray all things in supplication to him, and it will be handed to you. So it's great to be blessed by the best. It's great to be highly favored, and it is something I would recommend for all Americans.
Stunna, those are beautiful words, my friend. And before you bounce out of here, we're going to get your last thoughts on the draft. Thanks for joining us for the first portion of this Buccateers Day 3 live draft coverage. I am repping Scotty Miller. You are repping a great Bucks shirt as well, my friend. Any last inspiring words for our team as we head into the late dirty rounds here?
I think that we are a Bucks nation, okay? And whenever we add to our team, we have to support those players like has always happened and we have always done. We have some great super fans that make the trip worldwide, nationwide. And, these are the type of things that we need to encourage when we get these new players, to welcome them in our city, let them know how great it is to be a Buccaneer, and let them know that they will always be part of our fan base. I just want to see Bucks show up to these road games next year. I know it's going to be hard in this economy, but pick one and get there and represent hard if you can. If not, wear your gear. Like you said, you got Miller time. I got, the gray throwback. But get a Bucks tee. Represent. Show it in your city, especially if you're not in Tampa, Florida. Show them Bucks off, man. Let these people know that we ain't to be played with. That they just gonna have to get on the bandwagon, or they just have to get out of the way, because we are what's happening. And I really feel excited about this season. I really feel that this could be our chance to win another world championship.
Absolutely, brother. That was well said. I think we got to get on the road. I know Pops and I are planning.
Hey, don't hang up till this pick comes in now.
Yeah, we ain't gonna hang up yet. We're gonna wait because the Bucks pick is in already. We are flying here. Romeo Dubs went the pick before, I believe, wide receiver Nevada. Looks like the Packers took themselves another wide receiver in Romeo Dobbs out of Nevada. So the Bucks pick is in. We're gonna stay with you before Stunna bounces and we cut to a quick commercial break. But Olivia also says, friend of the show, Olivia Scordato, love the beard, Stunna. So you're a popular man today, my friend.
Absolutely, man. I don't believe it just for men. Keep it natural, all right? And Packers cleaning up, man. But there's going to be some tough competition in that playoff run and even regular season run with this. Oh, punter, come on, man. All right, go ahead. I'll let you talk on this. I wanted the cornerback from Arizona State. So
Pops was hoping we went with South Carolina defender. Yeah. It seems like we're going punter, and we went with the punter. Jake Camarada. So that pretty much shows the end of the road for Bradley Pinion. And
yes.
the only thing with that is that'll save us about, I believe, $1 or $2 million in cap this year. And he's a two-time All SEC section. This is a guy that was referred to as Mr. Punter, I believe, in this year's NFL draft. So he is the best punter available. We've seen good positional kickers from Georgia before. Obviously, Jason Light hasn't shied away from picking kickers and punters in drafts, as he's picked Roberto Aguayo and Matt Gay for kickers before. Both have backfired. Stunna, before you got to roll out of here, what are your thoughts on Mr. Punna, Jake Camarada? I know Cody G will be happy. He wanted this guy a lot, although he said he wasn't sure about round 4, but it looks like, right? Look at Bruce. Bruce is clapping in the war room. We got Bruce Arians,
I
everybody.
think Jason Light's the most excited, though. That's a little. Everyone else is like a punter. That's good. Nah, man, he ain't gonna keep number 90 because that's saved for Mr. Hall, right?
Yep, that is saved for Mr. Hall, at least as of right now.
Absolutely.
So, any last thoughts before you bounce out of here? It seems like Cody's even a little upset at the timing of that pick. He says WTF.
I feel we could have waited on that, and unless it's like you said, we're going to cut Pinion. That was decided going in, and if that's true, you got a starter in the 4th round. How many starters have we got in the 4th round since Whitehead? So Whitehead was 2018, right?
Yeah, so real quick here too, Greg Allman says if you draft a punter in the 4th round, he's going to be your guy. It means the Bucs are moving on from Bradley Pinion, who is due to make $2.9 million in non-guaranteed salary this season. So indeed, the Buccaneers are officially moving on from Super Bowl punter Bradley Pinion.
Yeah, dang near $3 million. Dang near $3 million. That's what I'm saying. Everything they've done in this draft is to get players that can contribute right away, but also save money. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, because think about it. They could have drafted Logan Hall in round 1, but instead they traded back to round 2, and now they're paying him round 2 money instead of round 1 money.
Yes, correct. So they do. They get the guy they wanted. Everyone had them mocked, Logan Hall, right? So and in the past, nobody, like I said, some of these picks have never been a secret. I knew we were going to get Mike Edwards. I knew we were going to get Devin White. Like I said, sometimes it gets leaked, and that's the way it goes. So we got our guy, 2nd round pick. Only got to get a 4-year contract. It's cheaper. We had multiple picks that we traded. We used to trade up and get 1 pick with. So that's instead of you're paying 1 player instead of 2, right?
Right.
And then you and like here, you draft a punter. He's probably NFL ready. Obviously, he's a beast at punting the ball. We don't know if he can kick it off or not. And you save $3 million, dang near $3 million. So that obviously could be used to throw in on an Ndamukong Suh or a Gronk, which I think are 2 definitely necessaries here. And because I really thought we needed to draft 2 interior D tackles. Even though we got Golston back, he how many snaps can he take? He's kind of over the age bracket. Even though we all love Will Golston, we think he's, definitely a captain on the defense, if he doesn't, without the emblem. But, I love the draft. I guess I love the pick because you do get a starter in the 4th round. And like I said, we haven't been doing that lately. I can't, the last couple drafts, we haven't got starters out of the 4th round. So I don't know, man. I really thought we needed to stack on that defense. We know we need a cornerback. If we get a cornerback, it's all right, down the road. But we know we need a cornerback because last year when we had injuries at the cornerback position, we were exposed and lost games or were in tighter games than they should have been because our defense couldn't hold up.
And Cody brings up an interesting point. He said, wonder why they liked him better than Ariza, who was known as the best punter in the draft. And this guy was number 2 or number 3 on many punters' big board. So it is interesting to see the Bucks go with the punter this early, although I ultimately like the move. We'll see how it plays out. So, Stunning, we're going to wrap up, or we're going to go to our first commercial break here. You got any last words before we bounce to our first commercial break and you head on out?
Right here, they're doing something from Germany with the Chiefs picking from Germany. What does that tell you?
That means
We know we have to give up a home game to Germany, like you mentioned earlier, right? And here they're doing a draft from Germany with the Chiefs. And it's been rumored that we're going to play the Chiefs in Germany. So I think we can pretty much say that's a foregone conclusion at this point. And there goes your cornerback. But anyway, like I said, I still give him an A, even though I don't like the punter in the 4th round pick. But like you said, when we did Matt Gay, that didn't really hurt the team because we had enough quality picks around him. You remember that?
Correct.
So I think we're good. I'd still give us an A. Heck, you still 4th round is still gonna be a starter, even though it's a punter. It's, only special teams player, but that special teams are special. They're still important. So and you and I have spoken about our dislike with the special teams. That needs to be improved.
Yeah. So hopefully
I think we'll make a pick towards improvement, exactly. And we could still draft a kicker. We have 2 7th round picks. So at least they're taking steps to attack a necessary weakness, which is our special teams. We look at last year offense, defense, special teams. You definitely think special teams played the worst, although the defense did play, down during the injury period, which is nobody's fault. And we know that Carlton Davis has to be on the field for us to win championships anyway, as well as apparently Godwin, which was proven last year.
Yeah.
And how fortunate, real quick, how fortunate we to get Godwin back. He took the franchise tag and got injured. Isn't that the biggest fear when you take the franchise tag? So, we were just so fortunate to get him back and to redo this, and we should have given him a long-term contract a long time ago.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to get Godwin back. And then, you see these other contracts that these wide receivers are getting, and it's like A.J. Brown getting paid $25 million a year, and we are paying Chris Godwin $20 million a year. Christian Kirk is right under $20 million a year. Mike Williams is right around $20 million a year. And to me, Williams is the best, or A.J. Brown and Mike Williams are better than Christian Kirk, but Godwin's better than any of those guys, and the value is just the best right there. So Stunna, we do appreciate you bouncing in. I know you got to head off to volleyball, my friend. So we appreciate it, and we hope that this punter works out.
I hope so too. He's got to. It's a big responsibility to get put on a rookie, and we know that the Chiefs punter is what cost him the Super Bowl against us. So that's a dangerous thing to do. But, like we say, we believe in Jason Light. He's done a great job in the past. He's definitely given us a quality roster. And look at Devin White, and the what Devin White has done for our whole leadership in the locker room and the community, everything, man. He's just been an excellent draft pick. So when you make picks like that, you don't have to worry about, questioning the punter who won't be keeping 90 for the Bucks.
Yeah, and that is Logan Hall. Logan Hall is announced as number 90. So Jordan Stout was taken as well. I must have missed that, Stunna, but there was another punter taken.
So what are we talking about? Run on a player, right?
You did say that.
So that's a Jason Light, man. If he feels there's a run and his guy's out there and he don't want to miss it, he's going to get up in them run, or he'll try to beat the run. So he'll get a guy in there right behind him. There'll be a run. You know what I mean? That's usually what happens with Jason Light. And like I said, though, the player evaluation is definitely improved with BA. And I don't think any Buck fan can really argue with what we've done, especially when you consider, Bruce Allen or Mark Dominic. I mean, there's no comparison, bro.
Mark Dominic, he was hot garbage.
I think Mark Dominic actually did better than Bruce Allen, though. Mark Dominic got us Levante David, who's part of our Super Bowl team. What did Bruce Allen do?
You ain't lying. That is true. You ain't lying about that.
So he's trash, and Bruce Allen's hot trash. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more, my brother. One man's trash is no one else's treasure because none of them either rebounded either. So
Unless it's Todd Bowles, who the Jets got rid of, and he gonna turn around and bring the Super Bowl to Bucks, and then we can all make fun of Jets fans for the rest of our lives.
hey, that wouldn't be a bad thing, my friend. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but nonetheless, we'll be back here on the Buccateers. Stunning, thanks again, brother.
Yes, sir. Have a great program. I look forward to tuning in and listening to it. And go Bucks, man. Bucks Nation, raise up.
Yes, sir. Raise up. We'll be right back here with more draft coverage on the Buccateers radio. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucks.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucks.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome back to the Buccateers live draft coverage. I am your host, Tampa Tones here, and we're making our way through the draft. It is getting into the later rounds here. The Buccaneers have completed both of their round 4 picks scheduled to this point, and now we play the waiting game for a couple of rounds, it seems, and then then we'll eventually have rounds or 2 picks in round 7. So as of right now, we don't have any picks for a long time, but you never know with Jason Light. He trades up often. He's moved back at times. So it's been a crazy draft for the Bucks to this point so far. And our last pick was an interesting one to some. I like it personally. Could it be a little too early? Maybe, but I didn't realize that Penn State's punter went as well. So it's not like we're the only team that has taken a punter. 2 punters have been taken to this point now, which, it could say something that punters are a hot commodity at this time. We could see a couple more punters go, and then next thing you know, that pick even looks a little better because, as our own Stunna says, that Light is a little bit of a draft trendsetter. So every time that he drafts a position or seemingly drafts a position, it seems to start a run on a good amount of picks or At least it feels like that for a little bit or whatnot. So we'll see how we do moving forward here. We'll see if we continue to make good picks, or at least value picks, in my opinion. And this is a value pick too. This is a value pick too, because it saves us money by being able to get rid of Bradley Pinion. And not that Pinion has been terrible the duration of his Tampa Bay Buccaneers career, but you don't really want to pay a guy like that 2.9 million, or I should say potentially more than that, but have him count at the very least 2.9 million against the cap. Here you're going to get a very good punter, or a presumed punter who's been at Georgia, SEC football. SEC is and Bailey Zapp. Looks like Bailey Zapp. They're talking about him now. I'm not sure if he went. I would assume he did, because they're talking about him. But Bailey Zapp just he's circulating around, so we'll have to see where Bailey Zapp ended up. But he was fantastic to watch at Western Kentucky. And now, just to update you on the draft a little bit, the Pittsburgh Steelers pick is in round 4, pick 138, and we're a couple picks away from round 5. It looks like we're a handful of picks away from round 5. So we'll keep you guys posted on the Steelers pick as that comes in. But Pat McAfee weighs in on the punter, Jake Camarada, that we took. Pat McAfee says, "Let's go," in all capitals. First time I watched Cuzzy Jake, can't find his Twitter, I said, "Oh, that dude has a Sunday leg. He's going to do his thing in Tampa." Zach Johnson said, "If he's good enough for the Pat McAfee show, he's good enough for me. Welcome to Tampa, Jake." That's obviously a good way to put it as well. So pretty exciting to see there Jake Camarada get endorsed by Pat McAfee. The Steelers selection is in, and it's about to be announced. It looks like it's getting announced from Mexico. And Mike Tomlin is joining NFL Network. So for you NFL Network heads, tune into that. But they take wide receiver Calvin Austin III. And the Steelers are now suddenly loading up on wide receiver. This is their second wide receiver taken in the draft this year. And they did lose Juju Smith-Schuster to Kansas City. So now they try and replace him with the likes of Calvin Austin III. And earlier in the draft, they drafted Pickens from Georgia. So they're trying to replace Juju Smith. And then they have other injured wide receivers as well all the time. Like Claypool has trouble staying on the field, and Deontay Johnson, James Washington. So good idea for picking 2 wide receivers, especially when you draft a rookie QB in round 1. You want him to try and develop a little bit of a rapport, a little bit of a rapport with these young wide receivers, as obviously you hope to each at least have him for 4 years to come apiece, so they could continue to grow together and try and benefit the franchise together. So I see what Pittsburgh's doing. I see what the Steelers are doing. The Ravens pick is in already. We are motoring here. Then we got Green Bay, Dallas, Rams, Tennessee, and then that'll conclude round 4. Then we bounce into round 5. Tampa is sitting out round 5 and round 6 at this time. We did have a pick at round 6 for a little bit, and we ended up getting rid of that pick in round 6 when we moved up to take offensive linemen in round 2 from Central Michigan. So the Bucs have moved back, they've moved up, they've moved all around. And another tight end taken now, Baltimore Ravens select tight end Isaiah Likely. And he was ranked pretty high on some tight end draft boards. So Jason Light took a tight end in round 4, and more continue to fly off the board now. So it was good drafting a tight end when the Bucs took one, because they were able to kind of create the idea of what tight end they might want out of the ones that still remained at that point in time, what tight end they hoped to get, and they got their guy. And it seems like their guy got the team he wanted, as a video is circulating now of Buccaneers' new rookie tight end, Kate Oton out of Washington. It circulated a video of him pretty much saying, "Yes, I wanted to be a Buccaneer. I'm excited to be a Buccaneer, and I'm honored to be a Buccaneer." So pretty cool to see that. And the Packers pick is in as well now. So we are just flying here through the NFL draft. We'll try and see if we can get any more thoughts or ideas on what the Bucks are doing right now from other Bucks brains. And Evan Winter has a chain of tweets, and he says Evan Winter, formerly of Sports Illustrated, a friend of the show's. Now he writes for A to Z Sports. Evan Winter says 9 out of 12 of the Bucks defensive backs on the current roster will be without a contract in 2023, and Tampa Bay took a punter in the 4th round. The 3 players under contract are Antoine Winfield, Carlton Davis, and Troy Warner. So Stunna and I pointed that out as well, that, it is going to be thin, and that's why Stunna and I thought that it was going to be a thing where we took a defensive back instead of necessarily taking a punter. Ryan says, hey Ryan, how you doing? Thanks for joining the Buccateers podcast at this phase in the draft. The Packers pick is in. Green Bay Packers select Wake Forest center Zach Tom with round 4, pick 140. So we're going to keep you up to date there, as well as the Packers continue to build their way through this draft. So Bucks general manager Jason Light said that drafting a tight end, which the Bucks did in the 4th round today with Cade Otton, would not affect the status of Rob Gronkowski. I'm still giving him that time, writes Jenna Lane from ESPN. Well, yeah, that's pretty obvious to me. I don't think drafting a tight end that late necessarily would have an impact or much to do. And the Patriots, New England was the team that drafted Bailey Zapp out of Western Kentucky. So that's an interesting one, right? They draft Mac Jones last year, and he had a pretty good rookie year. They made it to the playoffs, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. At one point, the Patriots, according to more than just Julian Edelman, I am sure, at one point the Patriots were betting favorites, or at least the favorites out of some individuals, to go to the Super Bowl, and a lot of people thought it might have been destiny, perhaps, at a Bucks Patriots Super Bowl. So Mac Jones had a good year last year, but Patriots took Bailey Zapp this year, so that's interesting to see. I know he's a backup QB. Sam Howell is still on the board, but they went Bailey Zapp, so we'll see if Belichick could work his magic with him. Some Greg Allman insight on the Bucks pick. I don't think any of the Bucks draft pick besides Camarada should result in any cuts. Camarda, I should say, I'm sorry. They honestly don't have many contracts that were logical cap savings. Pinion is one we speculated about all offseason. Greg is right on that. Buccateers have said it time again that if you're going to cut anyone, it could be the punter is easily still available. The punter is the number 1 draft or number 1 money freer upper potentially. So, yeah, we've all said that the Bucks should move on from Pinion for quite some time now. J Bucks 525, aka J Boogie, tweeted at me right when that pick was made. He said, "Hey, I'm sure you're happy with the punter pick," because he knows that, although I was a Pinion fan and I'm a fan of Pinion the guy, he just doesn't get the job done as a punter for our Buccaneers. So I made the case to him on Twitter last year, hey, odds are eventually we're going to move on from Bradley Pinion. We're going to cut Bradley Pinion. We're going to save some money by cutting Bradley Pinion. And at first, Jay, I'm sure he'd be the first to admit he had a little restraint on that idea. And then eventually he came along to the fact that I think he knew I was right. We could save money and perhaps upgrade our punters play by moving on from Pinion, and we did just that today. We drafted Georgia's punter Jake Camarda in the 4th round, and Pat McAfee loves it. And we continue to get comments here. Ryan says it's raining at my house. Well, Ryan, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Hope you're at least watching the draft and, staying dry while you watch the draft. I'd hate for you to be out and about and get rained on. I missed this comment, but Cleveland Me said inspiring when referring to Stunna. Stunna joined us for the first portion of the show. The Ravens pick is now in. We're waiting to hear word about who pick number 141 in the 4th round is by Baltimore, and it's cornerback Demarion Williams from Houston. So Ravens continue to add on to their defense. they've added a lot of defense in this draft in particular. And we have another Stunna comment, even though Stun is gone. The beard is cool. So Stunna got a lot of love on his beard, actually. Olivia said, love the beard, Stunna. Ryan said the beard was cool. So a lot of Stunna love for the beard. But we have 2 picks left in the 4th round. We got the Rams and we got the Titans coming up. So we're just going to go over some of the Bucks draftees and what they could potentially do with their 2 7th round picks to this point. So there's a couple of things the Bucks could do with their 2 7th round picks. They could package them up and try and squeeze up into the 5th round if possible, because we've seen the Bears trade their 5th round pick to the Chargers in return for 2 7th round picks today. So for those saying Bucks can't get a 5th for 2 7th, it was already done today with the Chargers and the Bears as they continue to swap. I guess the Khalil Mack trade wasn't enough, and I guess the Bears signing a former Chargers lineman this offseason wasn't enough. They said, hey, let's swap some picks today. You guys, the Bears need players. The Bears need assets, so they took on 2 7th round picks. I could see the Bucks trying to package their 2 7th round picks up for 5th, but at the same time, I think they kind of want bodies. I think they might be okay keeping their 2 7th round picks. They need backup. They need depth. Like we said, like Evan Winters said, 9 out of 12 Bucks defensive backs are going to be free agents next offseason. You need to at least take 1 defensive back with one of those 7th round picks, heck, if not 2 defensive backs. We'll eliminate positions right now. After taking a tight end today, although Gronk is not signed, you do not take a tight end because you have Cam Braid still, and now you have a 4th round tight end. That's not a need. Nowhere on the offensive line is a need after we took one already yesterday. We have Tristan Wirfs. We have Donovan Smith. We brought in Shaq Mason. We brought in Fred Johnson. We brought back Josh Wells. A lot of offensive. We brought back Ryan Jensen, Big Red, obviously. Last year in round 3, we drafted Robert Hainsey. We brought back Aaron Stiney. Offensive line ain't a need. Running back is not a need anymore after drafting one yesterday. Wide receiver obviously ain't a need after we brought in Russell Gage, brought back Rashad Perriman. I mean, I wouldn't doubt potentially, but we still got Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden. Still got a lot going on at wide receiver, so I doubt they do that. Defensive line, we drafted Logan Hall with our first pick, which is technically almost a first rounder, pick 33 overall. So we used our first pick, almost a first rounder, on a D lineman. We still hope to bring Sue back. We brought back a couple D linemen, so I doubt it's that. And the linebackers were pretty set on. So 2 positions the Bucks look at to me in the 7th round is either defensive back or edge rusher, especially since we already addressed the punter position in the draft. I don't think that they're going to draft 2 rookies and a kicker and a punter, so I think that they're done with special teams. So I think the 2 positions to highlight for potential 7th round picks would be defensive back and edge rusher, because after Shaq Barrett and after Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, it looks like JPP is gone because the Bucks already gave his number to Logan Hall. So you have Anthony Nelson and Cam Gill in the fold, but after those 4, you really ain't got anybody, too many people to help out there. So the Rams select another cornerback is gone, Jacoby Durant. So that's the thing. The Bucks took a punter. There was another punter taken. Penn State's punter, might I add, James Franklin, somehow does a phenomenal job at producing pros, yet staying stagnant in terms of on-field production. But another defensive back is gone. So that was round 4, pick 142 for the Rams. Jacoby Durant was their pick. Hopefully, for Rams fans' sakes, not for Bucks fans' sakes, but if you're a Rams fan, you hope you could learn under Jalen Ramsey and whatnot. And that leaves us with 1 pick remaining in the 4th round. Then we're going to take another quick commercial break here on the Buccateers radio. Then we're going to come back with 2 more 15 to 20-minute segments or so before we bounce out of here. But we still got plenty of show left. We got plenty left in the tank. We're going to just hear this Titans pick. Their pick should be in shortly, as the Rams just made the pick of Jacoby Durant, cornerback out of South Carolina. And the pick is in already for Tennessee. So after Tennessee's pick is announced to conclude the 4th round, we're going to take a quick commercial break on the Buccateers Radio Network, and then we'll get back to you with more live draft coverage. I got it a text now. What is this? NFL draft card? It is. It is the Buccaneers NFL draft card from last season, round 3. Robert Hainsey, offensive lineman from Notre Dame. It isn't the exact one because actually Matt Grisham has the exact one, but this is they only make 2 of these, and they make it on its whole little prop. You see the certificate of authenticity here, and you see the special 2 of 2 edition down below here. But Notre Dame offensive lineman Robert Hainsey, it's his whole draft card and everything, says the overall, says the pick and whatnot. So that is what an official draft card looks like, ladies and gentlemen. If you never quite knew and you are in on the live stream, that's what a draft card looks like. Is this the exact one? No, but it is a replica. And it starts at the top by having the NFL draft logo. Then it says a team and round on it. Then it says last name, first name. Then it says a position. And then under that's the school. Under that is the overall pick. Under that is the logo of the team. So this one was round 3, Buccaneers 2021 NFL draft. Robert Hainsey, offensive lineman from Notre Dame, which 95th overall. Pretty dang cool, though, to have that piece of Bucs memorabilia, as not much comes available from the NFL draft. And if you have a man cave or a Bucs cave out there, it's pretty awesome. So pretty cool to see. Pretty fun to see these draft cards. I'm hoping more come available on NFL auctions this year too, as they always help charity as well. So for that cause, for that case, it's always a good time. So we'll see where that goes. The Titans pick is about to get announced, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back at you with more day 3 coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft, Buccaneers, and beyond on the Buccateers. Let's listen in here. Another tight end. Hey, Chigoziem Okonkwo from Maryland. That is a tongue twister, but we see another tight end taken now, and they are flying off the board. So we got our tight end, great timing. Hey, another punter was taken after we took ours. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. As Stunna says, Jason Light is a trendsetter. So out of Maryland, tight end to conclude the 4th round of the Tennessee Titans, Chigoziem Okonkwo is taken. We'll be back on the Buccateers Radio Network. We're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back shortly. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was just ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucks.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was just ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome back to the Buccateers podcast after that quick commercial break. I'm your host, Tampa Tones, and we have breaking news. Another quarterback is off the board with the first pick in the 5th round. A former first-round projectee is finally gone. Can you guess it? Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina, is officially a member of the Washington Commanders, formerly Washington football team, formerly yada, yada, yada. But to this point, they traded for Carson Wentz this offseason, and now they have the backup to Wentz. If Wentz fails to meet expectations, they have a rookie to turn to. And this guy is the youngest quarterback in the draft, Sam Howell. So he has years left ahead of him, perhaps. And at one point in time, he was a Heisman hopeful. At one point in time, a lot of people were projecting him for the first round, but really struggled last year with some things as North Carolina struggled as a whole. But here he is on day 3 of the draft. He still gets picked, and it's the first pick around 5 to Washington at 144 overall. So we still have a couple quarterbacks on the board as well that at one point were talked about to be a couple round higher picks, and that includes Nevada quarterback Carson Strong. So we'll see where Carson Strong ends up and potentially other quarterbacks end up. But Sam Howell is now a member of the Washington Commanders. Let us know your thoughts on that on Twitter or in the comments if you're a Washington fan or if you're just a football fan as well. So we'll see where that ends up as we make our way through round 5 here, and we're trying to get word available on best quarterback still in the draft here. We're going on into ESPN, and let's see. Overall, they got Tariq Woolen rated 1. He's a cornerback, but I agree. I wanted the Bucs to take him if they didn't take a punter, but we're focusing on quarterbacks here. And Carson Strong is the number 1 quarterback left on the board, followed by Skylar Thompson from Kansas State at number 2. Jack Cohn from Notre Dame at number 3. Cole Kelly at number 4 from Southeastern Louisiana. And although ESPN has him ranked lower, I would consider this guy as my second best quarterback available left. EJ Perry from Brown. His athleticism is crazy. He's a very fast, mobile guy. I think he's the second best quarterback available. Then there's still a couple more notable names out there. Chase Garbers from Cal. Agil Glass from Alabama A&M, and then last but not least, here's a big-time name, Brock Purdy from Iowa State. So I'd say the names to keep an eye on at this point for quarterback would be Carson Strong from Nevada, Jack Cohn potentially from Notre Dame, EJ Perry from Brown, and Brock Purdy from Iowa State. We bring you to the best running backs available, and that's Ty Chandler from North Carolina being the best available. Then you got Jerome Ford from Cincy available, Kyron Williams from Notre Dame, Devontae Prince from Florida International is still available as the Chiefs select tackle Darian Kennard from Kentucky. So the Chiefs are beefing up for Mahomes, but you got some notable names available still for running backs. There's still a good amount of running backs left. So if your team is in need of a running back, it wouldn't be time to panic just yet. You look at some wide receivers. I like the kid from Rutgers, Bo Melton, and I love the kid from Clemson. I know he's a little slow, and I know he needs to grease the old wheels a little bit, but Justin Ross still being on the board at this point in time should not be a thing. If I'm NFL teams, I know a lot of people have Khalil Shakir or Kyle Phillips or Kevin Austin Jr. from Notre Dame, but I'm looking my chops at a Bo Melton or a Justin Ross type. Those two, to me, are going to be pros. They're built a little differently. Bo Melton is a shorter, fast type of guy. He's 5'11", 189 pounds. He's going to burn you on the ground, where Justin Ross is going to go up over you and catch it. He's 6'4", 205 pounds. And I know a lot of those numbers and combine freaks and geeks got a little scared away by Justin Ross' speed. And apparently so did a lot of franchises, as he's still on the board. But I think that would be a pretty good path to go for teams. Tight ends available. Number 1, James Mitchell from Virginia Tech. Then some other notable ones. You got Cole Turner from Nevada, as the Giants pick is in already. You got Jalen Weidemeyer. So they kind of dipped off greatly after the run that we've had the past couple rounds. So I'm very glad the Bucs drafted one where they did. Then you got fullbacks. Not a fullback has been taken yet. The best one on the board still available, Connor Hayward from Michigan State, and that's him and Jeremiah Hill from Oklahoma are the only two fullbacks even ranked. So both are good ones. Then you look at offensive tackles. Rasheed Walker is the best available. From where else? Of course, Penn State. He's ranked as the best tackle left. He's still got Kellen Deesh, Braxton Jones, Matt Waletzko from North Dakota, Thayer Munford from Ohio State, Veterayan Lowe from U of I. You still Ryan Van Dermack from UConn. So you got a good amount of tackles left if you're looking to take a chance on one in this round. Offensive guard. You still have the 7th best guard in the draft available at Jamari Solaire. So there's good value there. You got Marquise Hayes, Letitia Smith, Justin Schaffer from Georgia. So you got good ones as guards are available or under consideration. Center, you still have the 3rd best center available in Donovan West from Arizona State. So there you go. If your team's in need of a center, you still got a big one available. You got Alec Lindstrom available from Boston College, Dawson Denton available from Texas Tech as well. Then we move to the defensive side of the ball. But before we do that, we're going to ask you to take a minute to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are not yet, hit the notification bell and you'll be alert anytime that the Buccateers goes on the air or comes out with a new episode about the NFL or Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we appreciate that. And the Giants pick is in. They're waiting to announce them. So before we do that, we're going to go into special teams quick, and then we're going to announce defense. A little kid at the draft has a Jameis Winston Bucks jersey on. His poor parents, please help him upgrade. No, I'm just kidding. Winston still got love out there for you. But long snappers left, obviously. Couple get taken every draft, usually in the backgrounds. But Kel Odometis is still left from Kel. And he is the only long snapper ranked on ESPN. So look for him to be taken. As place kickers go, the number 1, Dicker the kicker is still left. Cameron Dicker. Actually, he's ranked 2, so a place kicker must have went. I will find out who that is, and we'll get that back to you. But Dicker the kicker is still on the board. Gabe Rick is still on the board, and Andrew Mavick is still on the board. But it seems as if a kicker has gone. And punters, ESPN's number 1 ranked punter is on the board, but 2 punters have gone already. Both Penn State's punter and then Georgia's punter. The Bucs took Georgia's punter, so we'll see if Mr. Punter, they call him, Matt Araiza, gets taken here soon. And the Giants pick is in. Linebacker from Indiana, Micah McFadden. So a big-time linebacker from the Big Ten there. They hope he does a lot of good there in Big Blue. He was round 5 pick 146 for the New York Football Giants. We're going to go over to the defensive side of the ball now. And then that'll take us to about 115 or 120. Then we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with our last segment on our Day 3 live NFL draft show for the Buccateers. Defensive ends available. You look over there, and my pops wanted this guy, and I think he would be a good asset for a lot of teams left too. South Carolina defensive end Kingsley and Nagbare. He's ranked 8th on ESPN. His overall grade is a 70. He has pretty good pre-draft intangibles. Another guy I really like available for defensive end is Tyreek Smith. And the Giants just made another pick. They had back-to-back picks, so they went ahead and said, hey, we'll make our next pick too. Defensive tackle DJ Davidson from Arizona State. So Herm Edwards producing a lot of Sun Devils in this year's draft. Tyreek Smith is available. Assesi Adamawe from Minnesota is available at DN. Isaiah Thomas from Oklahoma, Notre Dame DN Myron Tagovailoa Amosa, that's Tua's brother. So maybe a Dolphins go out and take a chance on it to his brother. And then an interesting one left as well is Jordan Jackson from Air Force. Love people who serve our country, so we'll see if he goes. Defensive tackles left, you got John Ridgway from Arkansas. You got Matthew Butler from Tennessee, Eric Johnson from Missouri State. Rams acquire cornerback Troy Hill from Browns for future picks. So breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, the Rams and Browns make a trade. Quarterback Troy Hill is on the move. That's pretty interesting to say the least there. So from D tackle, we head to inside linebacker now. Darian Beavers, the number 11th ranked inside linebacker, is currently the best inside linebacker left from Cincinnati. Then you got Demario Jackson from App State. You got Malcolm Rodriguez from Oak State. Then you got Damone Clark from LSU and Kyron Johnson from Kansas rounding that out. And another guy I like to keep an eye on is Jake Hansen from U of I as well. Those are the inside linebackers left available. We'll go to outside linebackers now. The best one available is from Nebraska. Shout out Mr. H, Big Red, JoJo Doman from Nebraska. Then you got Amari Barno, Christopher Allen, Penn State's own Jesse Lakita as some of the best outside linebackers made available to this point in the draft at this time. Cornerback, I'm a huge fan of this guy. I hope somehow the Bucs could nab him if he lasts that long, but I really doubt he does. I think his time's coming any time now, and that is Tariq Woolen. But another guy I would love the Bucs to take is Josh Shobe from Alabama. Heck, if he's gone, I would like Tariq Castro Fields from Penn State. But I really just want our team to take a cornerback, especially with the amount that'll be gone soon. And then safety, Veron McKinley is left, Tyson Anderson is left, and Leon O'Neal is left. So you still got a good amount of talent on the board. You look around everywhere, and you still got talent. I'm interested to see what the Bills do as their pick is in. And it looks like they perhaps went nope, it's not announced yet. But the number one wide receiver is off the board from Boise State. He's no longer available, so we were just going him. And we'll see who else gets nabbed during this commercial break through the NFL Network. But since they're out, we're going to take a quick commercial break as well. Then we're going to come back with you and wrap the show up, wrap up things, and wrap up our beloved Buccaneers and NFL draft. You're tuned in with Tampa Tones on the Buccateers Radio Network. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Bug.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was just ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Bug.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome back to the Buccateers Radio Network. I'm your host, Tampa Tones, live on YouTube, and we're here with the Buccateers. And another tight end just went to the Washington Commanders, and tight ends are flying. Good thing the Bucs got theirs when they did. And we were kind of going over right before the commercial break the top pick or the top players left at each position, special teams, offense, and defense, as we wait for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 7th-round picks remain. And we did get a question from Twitter. It said, would you consider trading a 7th-round pick this year for a 6th-round pick next year if the offer was on the table? That's an interesting one. And honestly, as weird as it sounds, given this point in time and the current structure of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I probably would not. And usually I'm all for flipping up around in the next year, just waiting a year and being patient. But this Bucs team is going to need a lot of backups this upcoming season. We're going to need a lot of depth pieces, and we're going to need a lot of guys all in, all aboard for this championship run with Tom Brady coming back. This is Tom Brady's last year in Tampa, so you might as well give this Bucs team as much opportunity as you can to create the best roster possible. And losing a pick this year but gaining one next year, sure, it would help next year, but it wouldn't do anything for this year. Meanwhile, this pick this year won't only help this year, it'll help next year too, because when you get to the regular season then next season, you're still going to have this guy on your roster, whoever the 7th-round pick might be, instead of needing to wait to next year to take someone. So, for instance, if you take a Woolley in the 7th round or whoever, if you take the Penn State corner in round 7, who still might be there, Tariq Castro Fields. You could groom him this year with those guys who are still there. And a defensive end, Thomas Booker from Stanford, just went to the Houston Texans. So not a bad pick there. But you could groom a guy like a Penn State cornerback, as we just talked about, Tariq Castro Fields, or you could groom a guy like a Tariq Woolen from UTSA or a Josh Joby. And then you could also draft an edge rusher, and they could groom under guys like Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Cam Gill and Shaq Barrett and Anthony Nelson instead of waiting till next year. And then they don't get half the players who are here this year, next year to groom under. You know, you might not get a Sean Murphy Bunting on this team next year. You might not have a Jamel Dean to learn under next year. You're certainly not going to have Tom Brady here, it looks like, next year. So you might as well get these guys playing with Tom Brady now. You might as well get guys acclimated to the winning ways. You might as well let them meet and learn from playing with some of these guys. And we're playing rapid fire here now. The Falcons pick is in. They're walking to the podium. They're ready to announce pick number 151 of the 5th round here. And we'll see who it is. Is it going to be another tight end? Is it going to be a defensive end? Is another punter going to go in here? It's another running back. Tyler Algier from BYU is now an Atlanta Falcon. So we're here for 10 more minutes live on the Buccateers radio before we bounce out. We promised you 12 Central, which is 1 Eastern to 2:30 Eastern. And we're going to give you just that. We're going to remain here strong for these final 10 minutes. So we got the Falcons making that pick. I believe it's then Denver, Seattle, Philly, Dallas, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Seattle, and then Indianapolis, Chargers, New Orleans, Tennessee, Vegas, is the upcoming draft order. So if you're a fan of one of those teams, stay here for the next 10 minutes. You never know the way this draft is going rapid fire. You might as well stay with us. Even if you're a Bucks fan and you're kind of just curious to see what happens, you can keep it right here on the Buccateers podcast as we're bringing you live coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft Day 3. It's been an incredible hour and 15 minutes to this point. We had Stunna on to talk Bucks ball. We had Joey from Cleveland, me, Olivia Scordato, and Ryan Lerman, and also, of course, Pops partaking. We've had Twitter questions. So it's been a lot of fun, and we've talked about giveaways. We're going to announce how to partake in those giveaways right now. So we're making a new logo. This logo you see in the top right-hand corner will soon become not a thing of the past, but kind of more our secondary logo as the Broncos pick is already in. It's going to become more of our secondary logo, and we're coming out with the new Buccateers logo. And to debut our new logo, we found a way to do it pretty cool. We're going to do mini helmets. So mini helmets are going to be on the way, and we're actually going to get those picked up tomorrow, and then there'll be giveaways. So giveaway method, you obviously have to be following the Buccateers on Twitter, and then you got to retweet or tweet coming later today at the conclusion of the draft. It'll say retweet this tweet for a chance to win. You got to be following us, and then it'll say vote in our next poll. Then we're going to list all the Bucks draft picks or whatnot and see which one the fans like the best. We're not going to list Logan Hall, and we're not going to list the Central Michigan lineman. We're more going to list the back end picks to see, because obviously Logan Hall and Luke Godke would be the two favorites amongst many. So we're going to leave it up to the likes of the Rashad Whites of the world, the Jake Camardas of the world, and the Cade Ottens of the world to see where we go. But anyhow, giveaway, just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. And I mean, some Bucks fans are just taking this stuff to a whole new level. I see some people tweet and hate shit at Bradley Pinion. That's just not needed, and you don't got to do that. I mean, Pinion won the Super Bowl with us. Did he provide much this last season? No. Did he hurt us? Potentially a little bit, but hey, no need to tweet bad things and be mean to the guy. So that's one way you could win those, through Twitter, the mini helmet. We're also going to do a mini helmet giveaway through Instagram. So we'll see how that ends up as well. So be on the lookout on our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for continued chances to win those potential mini helmets from the Buccateers podcast. So those will be cool. Shipping will be free and all that good stuff. So we've posted pictures of them on Twitter already. If you don't follow us, go look at us at Buccateers and whatnot. So I'm going to take these last 7 minutes while we keep you covered and posted with the draft and whatnot. Man, and there goes our guy, Tariq Woolen. Man, I really wanted him. He helped UTSA have a good year, a bowl year this year, and now he's on Seattle Seahawks. I think Tariq Woolen is one of the better cornerbacks in this draft. And to be honest, I'm not sure how he lasted this long. He has great size and intangibles. I know the small school concerns some people sometimes, but now that means give me either Josh Joby or Tariq Castro Fields. Please, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they even make it that long, because heck, we're only in round 5. So a lot could happen in between that. So we'll see what happens. We're hoping to announce a Bucks pick on our Twitter. 2 picks today. We hope they don't trade them away, but nonetheless, going to wrap it up by talking about the Arians Family Foundation golf outing. I was lucky enough to attend, and I'm going to have a whole little mini up to the minute buck date on this as well, but I might as well cram a little of it in here. It was incredible. Shout out to the Arians Family Foundation for doing what they do with all the children and raising money for the children, especially. That's a great thing to do. If you want to donate, go to the AriansFamilyFoundation.com to help them donate there. And then the Loose Cannons did a great thing in getting the ball rolling and getting the donations in. And they took place at the gala and the golf outing. I was lucky enough to partake in the golf outing, and it was beautiful. It was where the Valspars played at the Copperhead Course in Innisbrook Resort in Palm Harbor, Tampa. It was fantastic. So if those of you are interested in playing that golf course, I highly recommend going there. It's a beautiful time. We didn't play it, but we were there. I got a ton of meet and greets to talk about in the Buck to the Minute update whenever I go over that. Got a couple cool autographs. I got pictures with people. Got to say a couple cool words. I met a lot of podcasters in person for the first time, which was tremendous. I met the guys from the Loose Cannons, Populate, Samir Ali, Stank Bastard, much love. Stank's the man. They're all OGs, but Stank's a friend of the shows. He's been on the show before. Fantastic guys there. Got to meet Loose Pucks podcaster and Loose Cannon's guest, Evan Garnett. He is very cool. Got to meet JCL and JC, friend of the shows from Pewter Report. He's fantastic. I mean, the people you meet, Rep Matthews from Cannon Fire Pod, he's been on the show once. Good guy right there. Loose Cannon's Leprechaun and his son were in attendance. Pewter and Pelagic were in attendance. These are people that Buck's Twitter really appreciates to meet, so I'm glad I got to meet all them. Jake Arians, I shook your hand, said a couple words with you, my brother. You're a fantastic guy. Thanks for leading it all. My phone was dead, so didn't get a picture with Jake. My phone died for about an hour and a half span, so I missed some pictures on some great guys, but luckily, I had a buddy there, Zach Johnson. Him and his wife were able to get me a couple of the pictures while my phone was dead. So shout out to them. They helped me out a little bit by getting me some of the pics. Obviously, every time a person came, I didn't want to bug him and ask, but they were more than willing and nice enough to help me with a good amount of those pics. So it was just an incredible time overall. And that was this past Monday. And we're going to get into a whole episode about that and a whole Buck to the Minute update segment about that itself here in the coming weeks. But we got a couple more minutes left on the show now, and the Jaguars pick is in at pick 154. I'm interested to see where they go. They could go a lot of places potentially. So Jaguars, they need a lot. Doug Peterson is first year there. Urban Meyer didn't do a great job assembling that team last year. They had the first pick of the draft. They did draft Trevor Lawrence last season. They had Travis Etienne and whatnot. We'll see if Travis Etienne and James Robinson, their running back tandems, can come back from their injuries and overcome that. But the Jaguars pick is in. It should be only a minute or two now until we get the Jaguars pick at pick 154 in round 5. And then we head off the exit table as we promised you, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, and we're about to come up on that time spot. I really would hang here for the rest of the rounds as well, round 5, round 6, and round 7. But, I'm a fan of letting the people watch draft, letting them partake in draft stuff. So we know a lot of people. And there was a trade, I guess. That's why the Jaguars are on the clock. The Jags traded picks 188 and 198. And they acquired 154 for those curious of how Jacksonville got on the board. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And we're just waiting on the announcement here from the NFL draft on the Jaguars pick. I wish the Bucks were coming up. I will stay here longer. And I will say welcome new Bucks beat writer as well. Nice enough to follow me back on Twitter right away. And she seems like a heck of a contribution already to this Buccaneers writing team. Brianna Dix, she has some great reporting set on tight end K. Dot and says, feel like I was born with a football in my hands. He is the grandson of the all-time winningest high school head coach in Washington. Cade played for his grandfather, Sid Otten, who guided the team to 4 straight playoff appearances. So great information there, Brianna. We appreciate that greatly and your coverage for this Buccaneers team. So she did a great job with some background info there on K-Dot and her new tight end from Washington and his grandpa, who is one of the most successful coaches, the most winningest coach in high school history. in the state of Washington. So that is pretty dang cool to hear and pretty cool to see. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring you the Jaguars pick. We're waiting on it. We're at the edge of our seats, and then we are going to bounce out. We are on pick 154 here in the NFL draft. It was cool being live for one of the Bucs picks, at least. We got to bring you guys Jake Camarda getting drafted, the punter from Georgia. That was pretty fun. Stun and I got to break down our live draft values and experiences of how we feel about Jake Camarda. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bucs do with the last two picks of the NFL draft when they pick in the 7th round. And Jaguars pick running back Snoop Connor from Ole Miss. So interesting here. We're talking how they took Travis Etienne in last year, right? We're talking about how they signed UDFA James Robinson the year before that. Both suffered kind of big-time injuries, although both should be pretty good prominent pieces to this Jaguars backfield in the coming years. They went ahead anyways, and they drafted running back Snoop Connor. So doesn't look good for former Buck Dare Agumbawale to make the team as a back. He might make the team as a special teams member or something along those lines. But seems like Jacksonville has their 3 running backs for the foreseeable future. Now, I know Etienne's coming back from injury. I know James Robinson is injured. So maybe that does open the door for former Bucs running back Dare Agumbawale to at least start the year in that Jaguars backfield. But we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, this has been a fantastic ride. This has been a fantastic time. It's Tampa Tones here on the Buccateers. That has been our 2022 NFL Draft Day 3 coverage with Stunna and Tampa Tones. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Buccateers. Enjoy the rest of the draft and be on the lookout for giveaways on our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Eat Buck. Tampa
Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.